Let's go to page 380. Start with number 1. So number 1, they give you the roots and you're looking for equation. So you got -1 and 5i. Okay, now since the equation has an integral coefficient, that means when you have an I, it means you're going to need to have a conjugate. Okay, so you're going to have a -5i again. So in order to get the integer coefficient, you need to have a conjugate. Okay, now, so from here, right? Now normally you would do this. You're going to x plus 1, and you're going to have an x minus 5i, and you're going to have an x plus 5i equal to 0. Okay, so now you would do this. And then after that, you go and multiply. Now when you multiply, you always multiply the conjugate first. Okay, so always multiply the conjugate first. Okay, so when you multiply the conjugate, so you're going to get x squared minus 5 times 5 is 25, and I times I is -1, so it becomes plus. Okay, and then after you go and distribute and multiply out, so you're going to get x to the 3 plus 25x, and this one would be plus x squared plus 25. Okay, and go ahead and arrange this in a better order. So you got x to the 3 plus x squared plus 25x plus 25 equal to 0. Okay, and this is your answer. Okay. So again, this is kind of going backward. Normally you have the equation, you have to get the answers. But over here, in this lesson, they give you the answers. You have to get the equation. Okay, number 3, you have the -2, and you have the -1 plus I. Okay, so again, you need to have a conjugate. In order to get rid of the I, you need to have a conjugate. So that means your third root or third answer would be -1 minus I. Okay, but now this gets complicated. So if you use this method, it's going to be bad, because if you use this method, you're going to get x plus 2. You're going to have an x minus -1 plus I, so it gets messy. So it'd be x minus -1 minus I equal to 0. So it's going to become messy. So the way to do this is using your root equation. Okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to let R1. So you're going to use this to get the depressed equation. So that R1 equal to -1 plus I, and R2 equal to -1 minus I. And remember your root equation, you got x squared minus R1 plus R2, x plus R1, R2 equal to 0, right? So what you want to do, you want to get a depressed equation from this part over here, okay? And you substitute, so you're going to x squared minus, so when you add, this will cancel out. Okay, so when you add, you're going to get -2. Okay, now when you multiply, again, you just multiply the matching part, right? So -1 times -1 is +1, plus times minus is minus, I times I is -1, so it becomes +1. So from this part, you're going to get x squared plus 2x plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so from this, you're going to get that. And then from here, we can go and include this part over here. So these, so from these, if you distribute, it's going to be complicated. So when you do these, you're going to get that. Okay, so x plus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 2 equal to 0. Okay, so again, you can either use this method or you can just go and work this part out. So this part is equal to this. Okay. Okay, so again, when it's complicated, you want to do this. Okay, if it's simple, you can do it directly, but again, over here it gets messy, so you want to using your root equation to do it. Okay, so now we can go and distribute. So this will give me x3 plus 2x squared plus 2x. Okay, so I'm done with this one, so I go to the next one. Plus 2x squared plus 4x plus 4 equal to 0. Okay, then go and combine the like terms. So I got x to the 3. And look for the square term. So I got this one here and this one here. So it'd be plus 4x squared. And then the x term is here and here. So it'd be plus 6x plus 4 equal to 0. Okay, and so that's it for this one. Okay, so again, that's why it's important to know different techniques, because sometimes one technique is quicker than the other, depends on the situation. Okay, so when it's simple, you can just do it faster this way. When it gets messy, complicated, it's easier if you do it this way. Okay. Okay, number 5. Okay, so you got x to the 3 minus 3x squared plus 4x minus 12 equal to 0. So this is the cube. It means you're going to get 3 answers. Okay, so you got, so one of the answer is 3, and the next one is 2i. Well, because all these are integer numbers, coefficient. So in order to get rid of the I, you must have a conjugate. So the conjugate of that is minus 2i, and that's it. Okay, so this will be 3 answers to that. So again, very simple. Okay, if you know what you're doing. Okay, number 7. So you have a x to the 4 minus 2x to the 3 plus 4x squared plus 2x minus 5 equal to 0. Okay, so you got 2 answers are giving. So you got negative 1, you got 1, negative 1, and you got 1 minus 2i. So again, this is x to the 4 power, so you're going to get 4 answers. So you have 1, 2, 3, so you need to have one last one. But again, notice there's an I, so when you multiply out, in order to get rid of the I, you need to have a conjugate. So your answer must be conjugate, okay? And therefore it must be 1 plus 2i, and so that's your answer. Okay. So again, 4th power, 4 answers. And when you have the square root of the I, you must have a conjugate. Okay, okay, number 9. Okay, so this, again, the roots, one of the root is giving, and you have to solve the equation. So you get x to the 3 plus x minus 10 equal to 0. And you have a negative, so you have the first root, r1, is equal to negative 1 plus 2i. Okay. So, again, there are many ways you can do this. One way is by doing the synthetic division, divide it out, but this is kind of messy. So, you probably don't want to do that. Okay? So, probably better to just go and get a conjugate. So, r2 equal to negative 1 minus 2i. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a depressed equation first. Okay? So depressed equation. So again, write down the root equation form. So x squared minus r1 plus r2 x plus r1 r2 equal to 0. So again, from this answer we can get a second answer, and from these 2 answers we can get the intermediate equation. Okay, so from here you're going to get x squared minus, so when you add, this will cancel out, so you're going to get negative 2. Okay, now over here you have to multiply, so multiply negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1, plus times minus is minus, 2 times 2 is 4, I times I is negative 1, so 4 times negative 1, and this one becomes plus 4. So you're going to get x squared plus 2x plus 5 equal to 0. Okay? So this came from here. So that means this can factor into 2 parts. So again, these 2 answers give you this part. So this part is this right over here. Okay? So now I have to figure out this part. Well, by just looking at expression, okay, just think, okay? How are you going to get x cubed? Well, you need to have an x, right? X times x squared give you x cubed, right? So look at the beginning and the end. How are you going to get negative 10 from 5? Well, you need to have a minus 2, right? So negative 2 times 5 will give you negative 10, okay? And all the middle terms is going to cancel out to get that, okay? Again, all you have to do is look at the beginning and the end. So these will get these 2 answers. These will give you x equal to 2, right? Because you have to set it equal to 0, okay? And you solve. So x equal to 2, okay, and that is the last answer. So the 3 answer would be 2, and you're going to get negative 1 plus or minus 2i. Okay, and that's it. So again, from the first one, you get a conjugate to get a second one, and you want to figure out what equation these 2 answers came from. So by just work backward, So these two answers came from this equation. So this equation is only part of this, okay? Because when you break it down, this is going to factor into these two parts. So this is this part over here. So from here, you can figure out this part, okay? So it's kind of fairly easy. You can just kind of figure out what this part is, okay? But if it's too hard, you have to do the long divisions, okay? Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, you have x to the 4 minus 6x to the 3 plus 60x minus 100 equal to 0. Okay, so you have R1 equal to 3 plus I. Okay, so right away, you know that R2, the second, so this is a fourth power, so you're going to get 4 answers. Okay, so you're going to get 4 answers. So from the first answer, you can get the second one. So you have to be conjugate, okay? Okay, so from here, again, you need to find out what equation this answer came from. So you can use your root equation. So you get x squared minus R1 plus R2, okay, plus R1 times R2 equal to 0. So x squared minus something, okay? So when you add, this will cancel out. So when you add, this will give you 6. Okay, now when you multiply, 3 times 3 is 9, plus times minus is minus, I times I is negative 1, so it becomes plus 1. So simplify, so you got x squared minus 6x plus 10 equal to 0. So these two answers came from this part. Okay, so that means this will factor into this part like this. So this would be x squared minus 6x plus 10. Okay? So again, this will factor into these two factors. And these will give you these two answers. So now we have to figure out what is this over here. Now this one is not as easy as this one because this one is a single power. But this one you're not going to be able to figure it out. Okay? Because it's going to be squares. There's going to be 3 terms. You can figure out these two, but you're not going to know what is in the middle. So you can figure out it's going to be x squared and it's going to be minus 10. But because there's another term over here that you don't know what this is, okay? Right? Because negative 10 times 10 give you 100, right? X squared times x squared give you that. But you don't know what number over here will cancel or will get you this over here. So the way to do that is you have to do the long division, okay? So you have to do the x to the 4 minus 6x to the 3. Okay, there's a missing term, so it would be plus 0x squared plus 60x minus 100. Okay, and you have to divide by x squared minus 6x plus 10. Okay, so you need to get x squared, so it'd be x to the 4 minus 6x to the 3 plus 10x squared. Okay, so dotted line, put parentheses minus. And this one you subtract. So all this cancel out. So this will give you negative 10x squared. Now again, you need to have 3 terms. So you have to drop all these. So it'd be plus 60x minus 100. So this one minus 10. Okay, so this one actually come out nice. Okay, so just check. Oh, okay, so this one don't have an x term, don't have the middle term, so this just work out. Okay, but we kind of got lucky on this one because most of the time there would be an x term. So this one don't have. Okay, so this again, this will give you these two answers. So we have to get the answer from here. Okay, so you got x squared minus 10 equal to 0. Again, this came from here. So plus 10 on both sides. So you got x squared equal to 10. Take the square root, so x equal to plus or minus square root of 10. Okay, so now we got all the answers. So both the answer would be plus or minus square root of 10. Then you're going to have a 3 plus or minus I. So those are your 4 answers.